The Great Train Robbery was shot in November 1903 and released a month later. It was a huge financial success. Directed by Edwin Porter, this 14-scene film broke new ground in the telling of a narrative story. The film opens in the railroad telegraph office. Two bandits enter the office. They force the operator to change the track signal. Then they instruct him to write a note, telling the engineer to go to a particular place to receive water for his train. The bandit reviews the note, gives it back, they see the train arriving, and they both hide as they await the engineer to receive his instructions. The engineer receives the note, unaware of the bandit's presence. The operator is then hit unconscious, and the bandits pull down a cord and tie him up. They take the operator's handkerchief and then gag him so he can't call for help. The train leaves and goes to the designated watering spot. There, the four bandits are waiting for the train. The train arrives, and the engineer fills the train with water at the designated location. Once the engineer finishes watering the train, he returns to the engine. The four bandits now sneak on the train without anyone realizing they have boarded. The train departs, and now we see the messenger in the express car checking his goods, making sure everything is in order. The messenger then hears a commotion, looks through the keyhole, and sees the robbers. He looks at the lockbox, locks it, throws the key out the door, and a gunfight ensues. The messenger is killed. Robbers look for the key. Not finding the key, the robbers decide to use dynamite to blow up the strongbox. The robbers then return to collect the loot. We see now a camera mounted on a moving train. One of the robbers climbs over the tender and sneaks up on the engineer. Another member of the crew sees the other robber coming, grabs a shovel, and a battle begins on top the tender. They struggle, and you'll see here a quick cut now, very shortly there, as one of the robbers picks up a piece of coal and continues to hit the other crew member, which is now a dummy, who's thrown off the train. The train continues down the track, but will slowly come to a stop. The bandits exit the train, the engine, and instruct the engineer to decouple the train. They return and pull the train forward several additional feet. Now the passengers of the train are forced to come off the train to be robbed. You can see one of the robbers standing there to the right of the screen. Another robber will soon appear coming down and move to the left. There he is now, beginning to collect the belongings and monies of the people on the train. Third robber now appears, and the robbery continues. Keep your eye in the middle of the screen, with the one man standing there, kind of anxiously in the middle of the screen. He makes a break for it and is gunned down. That is actually one of the actors playing one of the bandits. That is Bronco Billy, who plays several roles in this movie. The robbery continues. It's assumed that the fourth bandit is in the train with the engineer, keeping the engineer from moving the train forward as the robbery continues here. Goods collected, placed into a bag. Their robbery completed, the bandits fire their guns in the air and run back to the engine. As the crowd gathers around the fallen passenger. The bandits, 3 of them, now carrying their loot from the express car, race up to the engine, where they board for their escape. Having made their escape, the train pulls further up the track, and the 4 bandits exit with their loot, and then race down into the valley. Where they all slowly cross a stream, attempting to stay dry. And then race for their horses to mount them and make their final escape. Now these are cowboys from New Jersey, so you see the last bandit getting on the horse on the wrong side. But this is the movies, and off they ride. Here the operator comes to again, struggles to his feet, reaches over, and begins executing an alarm with his Morse code using his chin. He then falls to the ground, and his young daughter enters the building. Seeing her father on the ground, she desperately tries to revive him. She seeks a small knife to cut her father's ropes, prays for help, sees a cup of water and throws the water in her father's face in an attempt to revive him. Now we're at a hoedown, and these are cowboys and cowgirls having a good time dancing, swaying, and singing. In enters a tenderfoot. This is again Bronco Billy. And we see one of the iconic Western dances where men shoot at his feet and he dances away and then makes a quick exit. The crowd returns to their dancing. A do-si-do. Swing your partner. In comes the operator to tell of the robbery. A posse is immediately formed, and out they go in search of the bandits. The bandits are quickly found and discovered, and we see them now coming, the 4 bandits in the lead, racing on their horses, The posse close behind, gunshots being exchanged. One of the bandits is shot from his horse, but he comes back to his feet and attempts to shoot again, and is shot and carefully stumbles to die at the side of the road. One of the posse members stops to check on the slain bandit. The other 3 bandits are now anxious to split their loot and be on their way. They empty the bag they received from the express car and begin searching through the goods. They don't see it this time, but the posse is now approaching in the background. The posse's detected and a gunfight ensues. Two of the bandits fall quickly. The third, the lead bandit, continues to fire on until he too is slain by the posse. The posse then checks the fallen bandits and begins gathering up the loot that was taken from the train. And here's the memorable scene of the lead bandit, Justice Barnes, shooting directly into the camera. This scene will be repeated again in other films more contemporary to us as well.